Alright everybody, set Sumari Dark Arts, video 125. So, after yesterday's video, or the video that I put up a day ago, I had a very interesting experience yesterday. So, you remember the story where I talked about, I said, where my father said that the birds came into the house, and another person I know whose father had passed away some time ago, that a crow had came to them. Well, not specifically saying that this was any relationship to my uncle passing, but I did have an interesting thing go on yesterday. So I was sitting in the house, just, doing usual things, and I hear something land on the balcony, and I heard nails scratching, so I thought, okay, it must be a bird, and I ignored it. And to my shock, suddenly there's a tapping on the balcony window, and I thought, well, this is interesting. So I get up and look, and there's this pigeon, and it's just staring at me, and I thought, okay, what's this about? And it was just looking at me, and I was looking at it, and I thought, all right, well, be on with your day, my friend. And I closed the curtains back, these curtains you see behind me, and I started doing something, and suddenly it's tapping again. It was tapping on the window and like scratching at the window. And with pigeons, usually you open the blinds, you open the curtains, and they just fly off. It didn't leave. It just kept staring at me. It was standing on the balcony railing, and then there's like a pole that you put laundry on. It hopped onto the pole, and it was looking at me. Then it hopped off the pole and came down to the ground, and it was just walking over towards me. And I was behind the window. And I thought, whoa, cool. So after that, this went on. So I say this happened around 10 a.m. in the morning is when it started. And it didn't leave. It was out there. And I took a lot of pictures and stuff. And it basically was just hanging around. And the pictures are on my phone, but it didn't want to leave. And I ended up opening the balcony, seeing if it would run off and just fly off, and it didn't. It didn't seem to have any worry about me, and it even came close. I opened the balcony, it watched me, and I guess when it felt a bit comfortable, it jumped down, walked over towards me, and just an experience that I had. And the point of me saying this is this. In life, whether it's past relatives who recently passed, friends who pass, or even just energy. Energy wants to connect with energy a lot of times, and there are many different ways that these things can manifest themselves. Some people may go into, oh, it was definitely your uncle, he came back to visit you. The reason why I won't say that, because that would be the easy thing to say, right? It's like, oh, yes, my uncle, he came back and he visited me again. The reason why I say no, now, it may have well been. We don't know. But the reason why I say no is because I didn't get any feeling from it, as if the feelings that I had that I talked about in the last video. It's a specific type of feeling. And the way you feel intuitively and within your soul and within yourself, it explains a lot for when these things do happen. So you have to be careful not to fall into the trap of letting everything fall into the realm of psychic phenomenon that fits within your lifestyle parameters. So it would be easy for me to say, yes, my uncle came back to visit me, and he was in the form of a pigeon, and he was watching me, and just when I looked into his eyes, I saw a glimmer, and I knew it was my uncle. That would be too easy. And then someone would say, oh, yes, it definitely was your uncle. It may have been, it may have not been, but I didn't get any feeling of that. The feeling that I had at the time it was just a curious life form, another form of consciousness that somehow in its own way was aware of the consciousness that was behind this curtain on the other side. And let's look at it from the perspective of the pigeon. It lands on the balcony, and let's say that this is a pigeon with a more evolved consciousness than your average pigeon that's out there. And let's say that this pigeon does feel its own energy source, and it does have a feeling to branch out, and it's aware of other energies around it. So for that pigeon the other day, it was an exploration. It landed on the balcony, and it thought, I need to know what's behind that curtain. And we've all seen films like that through time, and we've heard stories of the simple act of wanting to know the unknown. And it doesn't just happen with people who are in a physical form of what they call human and physical reality. It happens with all forms of consciousness, where everything wants to expand its knowledge, wants to expand its, you know, the limits of what it can do and what it knows. And for that pigeon, yesterday, landing on that balcony and tapping on the window was a big thing. And yeah, it was safe as long as I was behind the window. But once I opened the door, that was a, you could even say, and I'm quite sure this pigeon has seen people before, but you have to just look at it from the terms of being up this high up in the air on the floor that I'm on, and anything could happen. I could have killed the pigeon. You know, if I had a more darker, sinister, destructive mind, you know, who knows? Someone could take a slingshot, take a stick, hit it, trick it with food and kill it. I mean, these are just things that some people do, unfortunately, in this reality, because they have not evolved to be more accepting of other things. But still, it's something that could have happened and it didn't. But that was a big step for one big step for that pigeon to knock on the window, see me come out, watch me, and then open the door and not run away. And it stood its ground and just kept watching me, and then had the courage to come over towards me without feeling any type of fear. Maybe it was afraid, but it was curious. And you always have to be curious. Curiosity is the key to unlocking a lot of your talents and abilities. A lot of people are afraid of everything. They're afraid of the dark, they're afraid of noises, they're afraid of shadows. They have so many things that they are afraid of. And this is the main reason why they cannot access any of their talents. That talents that they already have, the talents are already there, but you just can't access them because you're afraid. And fear of the unknown is, of course, it's something that's unknown. But the truth is, it's not really unknown. You already know these things, but you just most likely have to remember. You have to remember what they are. And hold on just a moment. Got to check the phone. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I got to keep track of the time because I have to go to work today. So, yeah. And yeah, you cannot be afraid, people. Fear is what takes all your abilities away. You feel afraid of something, hey, you you can't maneuver the way that you really want to. And I'll give you a good example. I was having a discussion with someone one time, not too long ago, and they said, well, I'm afraid, man. You know, I'm afraid because doing all this stuff, what if something possesses me? What if something gets me? What if I open a door and I can't close it and I let something in? And I kind of just laughed. And I wasn't laughing at them, per se, but it was just funny because I know a lot of individuals think this way. A lot of people have this type of way of thinking that what if something comes and gets them? I'm going to tell you something right now, and I want you to really meditate on this because a lot of people don't think of it from this perspective. In terms of physical reality, of you being here in a physical body, excuse me, in this realm, every time you go to bed, now let's just use the typical time frame that they see people should sleep. Let's say 8 hours, right? I know a lot of people, some may be 3, some may be 4, it could be 6, but let's just use 8 for an example, right? Basically, now if you're truly worried about something possessing you, something getting you, something's going to take you away in the night, every night when you go to bed, in your terms of physical reality, you're basically helpless. Think about that. If you live wherever you live, let's say you live alone in this scenario, you live alone in an apartment or a house, and you're thinking, I want to get into this, I want to expand my mind, I want to remember what I am, but oh, I don't want something to come take me away, something's going to possess me, a demon, an evil spirit. You're pretty much helpless every night when you go to bed. you're not aware. Now, you are aware on a much higher level, but in terms of just for this scenario of being a physical person in a reality that is completely unconscious, that you feel you're unconscious and you're not aware of what's going on because you're in a deep sleep, you're helpless at that point. If anything was going to get you, quote unquote, something was going to get you, possess you, take you, it would have happened by now. It would have happened. It would have happened to most people. And this is what people don't realize is that a lot of people sit around and they talk about demons and evil spirits and oh, I'm worried about this or that or this is going to get me. If these things were truly going to get you, it would have happened already. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. Two ways of looking at this. One, we could just go with, well, they don't exist. And that's a nice thing to say to help you sleep at night. And you close the door on this whole topic, turn off the video, and go back to your normal life. But let's just say that it's either they don't exist or you are actually very powerful. You're very powerful in the sense that nothing could just hijack your body or mind without your consent, at least. Nothing could just take you over. And this is what a lot of people fail to realize. If you do believe in energy, if you do believe in consciousness, if you do believe, but you find yourself tending to fall more towards a darker point of view of, oh, I don't want to be possessed, which there is no possession. You must be powerful in some sense, because if you believe that is a possibility or a probability and it hasn't happened yet, then that means that some part of you, some portion of you, is actually more powerful than you believe it to be, even when you're asleep in physical reality. When you're asleep, you are protected. If you weren't and you believe something's going to get you, why hasn't it happened yet? This is what you have to think about. Nothing just jumps up and possesses anybody. I know there are possession stories and people know this happened in 1869 and all these things, but listen, there are reasons for all of this. And when I say reasons, I'm not referring to, well, there's a logical explanation for it and nothing happened that was real. Yeah, these things do happen, but it's not happening from the point of view that many people think it is, where a demon just jumps into you, takes over your body, and now you're, incapacitated and all that. There are a lot of different factors that go into why those things happen, and most of it, if not all, has to do with the individual and the individual's beliefs in those areas. So most likely that individual does believe in demons, they do believe in evil spirits, they do believe something's waiting in the shadows to get them, and this is why it happens, because they believe in it, their imagination makes it real. And as we all know, imagination is the bridge between worlds. It's what, belief, imagination, these things open up the doors to all of it. It's necessary for all of it. If there was no part of anyone that didn't believe in, that didn't have the belief or the imagination to conjure up demons and evil spirits, none of these things would exist. It's all in existence because we brought it into existence. And this is what we have to understand. So nothing is really going to come out of the shadows to come get you. It's just not. It's just not going to happen, And this is what you have to accept if you want to continue to grow or start to grow. Now, another reason why people can't grow, as I said in the last video, or at least I referred to it, many of us become too caught up in the theatrics of human experience. And what do I mean by that? We get too locked into what's going on around us in physical reality in terms of, I don't want to say nonsense, but sometimes it is nonsense. And we become fixated on it like a trance. Oh, this person said this to me back in 1982, I'll never forgive them. My mother said this to me, I'll never forgive her. You won't believe what my coworker said to me the other day. Oh, my boss said this, my cousin said that, my sister said this. That's a lot of drama. And it's a lot of unnecessary drama that we basically pull ourselves into. You don't have to give in to that. You don't have to acquiesce to it. Just see it for what it is. Some individuals simply just like drama. It's who they are. Well, it's at least, it's a part of who they are. It's not who they are in total, because they're much more powerful than that, but they don't see it yet. And it's not your responsibility to make them have to want to see it. They have to see it for themselves. Everyone's on their own subjective journey, which becomes objective for others as we cross paths. But, everyone's on their own journey. And some people, many individuals, unfortunately, are on a journey and they don't know it. Because everyone is on a journey, but a lot of people are unaware that they're on a journey. And this is why they get locked into the daily nonsense that we see, that goes on. Oh, this person was talking about me. I'm going to get revenge on that one. I want to kill that person. I'm going to take this person out. And, what does all that lead to? So, and then you throw in politics and all of that. People get involved in politics to the point where, as you see right now around the world, in America and everywhere right now, politics destroys societies. Everyone gets caught up in who's doing what, who said one, who wants to do this law and that law, and who's right, left or right, extreme left, extreme right. It's really hard to, well, it's not hard, but it could be hard for individuals who are open to a much wider view of reality. See, when you are aware of what you truly are, it's really hard to remain fixated on that type of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that politics are not important, but I do believe that individuals become way too wrapped up in it, and it gets to the point where they let it define who they are. And nothing in this physical reality is going to define what you are, because you're much bigger than this reality. But we become too caught up on these things. And a lot of the problems that you see in the world happening, right, whether it's political, whether it's religious, all of it, all of the major issues you see going on in the world right now, it all comes back to the same point. Individuals who think they're human, and they have become so locked into this reality that they have basically forgotten what they are. And so they latch on to these ideologies or political parties, and it becomes so much a part of who they are. It becomes what they are. And they'll say it to you. I am this, I am that. And they let that define them. And once you go down that road and you cannot see it as, okay, I have an interest in politics, I have an interest, or I am a religious person, you have to be able to look at that as just an experience that you are dealing with at the moment, but you have to be able to remove yourself from it and see it from a third person perspective, which a lot of people just can't do. And language is the problem too, because even when I say people, we've had this conversation before in the past in old videos. I don't remember which one, but some of them. We're not human. And that's a whole nother conversation in itself that I'll get into right now. We're not human beings. That concept of a human being is something that we made up. When we came to this reality, being here, being in physical reality is no joke, man. And I'm not saying that from a negative point of view, but it's so powerful here that, number one, we're in a physical reality, right? So you have to accept the rules of physical reality to function here. If not, you would simply do things that would end your physical reality experience here. So, I've talked about this in past videos. No matter how powerful you think you are or believe you are, there's some things that just you can't do. If I open this balcony right now and think, well, that bird came to me, so that means that that's my power animal, and I'm a bird, I have the powers of the bird too, and I jump off this balcony, I'm not flying away anywhere. I'm not going to fly to the next floor, the next building. I'm going straight down. And that does not negate anything I talk about being a powerful, multi-dimensional being. It's a simple fact of I'm in a physical reality, and I have to accept that. And there are rules in this physical reality that my physical body has to abide by. Now, if I were to go out the window and fall to my demise, I would be flying within a few seconds afterwards. It won't be this physical body, though. That would be the other portion of my soul that has now been released if I didn't make that fall, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, you can fly. You're just not going to be doing it in a physical body without some type of gadgets or items to help you do that, which, you know, may or may not be in existence right now. But the point is, you have to abide by the rules of while we're here in this physical reality. You cannot fly physically, and a lot of other things you just can't do. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot do those things. It just means you cannot do it while being in a physical body. And that's the exciting part, because then it comes, well, how can we do? When can we do it? And that all goes into what we've been talking about in the last 124 videos, and this is where 125. Your non-physical state. Now, yeah, you have to stop being caught up in the nonsense that goes on in daily life and just see it for what it is. It's just an experience. That's all it is, guys. You take it way too seriously to the point where you're being removed from physical reality because of your actions, and you're doing certain things that lead to your removal. And a lot of people are being removed from physical reality too earlier than what they were supposed to, just based off of choices that they made. Now, people could debate whether they're foolish or not, but at the end of the day, they're still choices. And the choices that we make lead to things happening. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is in physical reality. So don't become too attached to what's going on around you. I'm not saying walk around in a type of state of, being desensitized, but you have to just see it for what it is and get creative with it. Say, okay, well, this is happening, so what can I do to make this more enjoyable or just make it more interesting? You got to think about this. You got to make things more interesting for yourself, because no one's going to make it interesting for you. That's just a fact. No one wakes up in the morning and says, how am I going to make this person, which is you, happy? No one cares about you on that level. Now, when I say that, of course, you might have family members or friends that care about you, but generally, you have to care about yourself and making yourself happy. And the one key to that happiness is understanding and remembering what you are. You're not a human being. You are, and we've heard this all before, so I'm not the first person to say this, but it's just a fact. You don't stop saying it because someone else said it. You're a multi-dimensional being having this human experience, and it's just an experience. That's all it is. We're here, we love, we cry, we do a lot of other things, and all the emotion, love, you cry, you hate, every feeling you have is just a part of the experience. But you cannot let that define who and what you are, because what you are is much more powerful than all of that. But you have to believe it first. You have to believe it. And as I said before, if you fall back into, this person said this about me and I can't let it go and this and that, well, be happy on your time loop, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're on a loop. I know many individuals feel like they're stuck in a loop. I've had that topic with people where they say, I feel like my life is it's not going anywhere, or I'm doing the same things over and over again. I'm meeting the same people over and over again. I'm having the same conversations over and over again. And guess what? The fact is, you're right. You are doing the same thing over and over again. You are meeting the same people because you're trapped in this loop that is basically, you have to be careful, because when you say a time loop, people tend to take it literally like it's an actual loop and you're going around, but it could feel like that. And because we need some sense of, because we're in a physical reality, and we need some sense of a frame of reference, that's what it could be visualized as within your mind. And you do feel like you're going on a loop, but it's basically just you putting out the same energy over and over again. That's all it comes down to. You're doing the same thing, you're meeting the same people, you're saying the same things. And there's nothing wrong with any of that if you're enjoying it. If you're having a good experience, if you like these people and you want to meet them every day, that's your choice. Have a great time, enjoy it. If you like listening to the same music every day, if you want to listen to the same album 562 times a day, that's your choice if it makes you happy. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, the problem only comes from when you are not happy with what's happening and you keep complaining about it, but you're not trying to change your thoughts to make something else happen. So you have to you just have to start getting more creative, guys. You got to get more creative, and the creativity starts when have to make you have to accept what you are and start accepting it. Stop. I talked about it yesterday, I think. Stop denying the reality of your own subjective experience. Don't deny it. You have to get to the point where it's like I always I told to certain people, and I said, well, when do you actually get it, right? When I say get it, I remember referring to, okay, I'm powerful. I'm a multidimensional being. I'm a spirit. I'm a soul, whatever you want to call it. And then you have it in that moment, and you go to work, and someone says something to you, like, "Oh man, I fucking hate this place." you know, it's like you have to. Once you get it, you've got it. You already have it, and once you have the experience, once you come to that awareness, it doesn't go away. It's not like, okay, I understand it on Monday, and by Wednesday it doesn't exist anymore. Once you have it, you already have it. Now, whatever has happened between Monday and Wednesday, whether it's just a bad day at work, something in your personal life went wrong, things didn't go the way you expected it, the Amazon package came past the time they said it was going to deliver it. These are the things that trigger you, and it pulls you back into that frame of, woe is me, life is hard, and all this is just a bunch of nonsense. And no, these are just things that are happening. Everything is just happening. And you're in the middle of it, and you have the ability to navigate and direct things the way that you want to go. So, within reason, because I know some individuals will say, well, if I'm so powerful, why am I not a multi-billionaire? It has nothing to do with any of that, guys. And we need to grow up and stop thinking in these childish ways of thinking where just because I say I'm a multi-dimensional being and I'm powerful and I can do many things, that means I'm going to become a multi-trillionaire. It doesn't mean any of that. That's a whole nother reality see, when you talk about wanting to be a multi-billionaire, you're talking about another reality. And that is a reality that to get to that point, you have to do specific things that will lead you to that reality if that's what you want. If you want to be a multi-billionaire, hey, be a multi-billionaire. But just remember, everything you do that will lead up to that point of you becoming a multi-billionaire, there are certain things that you have to do that fall within that realm of trying to be a multi-billionaire. And it is what it is. There's nothing wrong with it if that's what you aspire to be. But you have to follow life to become certain things. And that's with anything. If you want to be a police officer, just say, for example, sitting at home and saying, I want to be a police officer, not going to make you a police officer. You have to do things that will lead you to becoming a police officer. And higher up, you want to be an FBI agent, CIA, whatever it is, you have to follow in that path. You have to basically get into that reality. That is a reality that you have to access, get into, project yourself into it whole and fully, and accept it. And then from there, it hopefully will lead you to whatever you imagine yourself to be in the realm of, in the reality of law enforcement. It's just what it is, guys. So we're coming up on 30 minutes here, and I'm going to close this video out because I got to get ready for work. But remember everything I've said. Belief is very important. Don't get caught up on the theatrics of the human experience. Who said what? Who did what to you? Move on, let it go. You have to let it go. And stop being afraid. Nothing's going to get you. Nothing's waiting for you in the shadows. There are no demons that are going to come out from under your bed or in the closet or jump into your body when you're sleeping. If it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. And if you still want to believe that because you have some belief system that still deals with those elements, then that means you're powerful. That means that some part of you, some portion of you is so powerful that it has not allowed that to happen to you yet. So these are just some things for you to meditate on. As you see, this is the second video. I'm really going to try to push forward and just start making videos on the regular. I'm trying to get at least one out a day, or at least every other day. And yeah, I'm trying to basically get myself back into it. You know, it's been a few years since I made videos, and I don't follow a script or anything. I just turn the camera on and I start talking about whatever comes to me and things that I might want to talk about. But yeah, guys, let's keep it going. Comment section, if you want to talk about certain things, just put it down there, and you know, depending on what it is, if I see it, I want to make a comment on it, maybe I'll talk about it too. But yeah, I mean, for many of you that have said that you contacted me or you tried to contact me, I thank you. I appreciate all you guys. I'm back. For the ones that did comment in the comment section, thank you for hitting me up. Yeah, shout outs to people like G. Like I said, I can't call you because the system that I had before is not in existence anymore. They shut it down. So, and I can't find your contact information anymore because I had to do a lot of moving around and changing between phones and all that. And I tried, but I can't. So I'll keep looking, and maybe I have something written down somewhere. But if not, just try to hit me up if you have anything of mine. And if not, then I guess we'll have to just, you know, you have to see me here on YouTube until, you know, we get something going on the sidelines. But much love to you and everybody else out there who's been keeping up on this journey, and I hope I can share some more information to help you all out on your journeys. And as I said, there's a lot more stuff coming, guys. I'm just basically, I'm dusting off the cobwebs. I'm trying to get warmed up because I haven't done this in a long time. And generally, I'm a very private person. For people who know me personally, they'll tell you I'm extremely private. I don't like talking about my personal life. There are many things about me that people don't know that see me every day. So I'm a very private person. I keep to myself. I don't really like dealing with people. So me getting on YouTube and talking about these things, it's because it's what I feel that I want to do, and I really want to help people out there who are where I was at some point, and others who might be where I am right now, and they just want a fresh reminder. So it is what it is. I got to get out of here. Thanks everybody. I'll another one will be coming up soon. But yeah, hit me up in the comments if you want to say anything. Love to everybody. Take care. Bye.